Hello, hello, hello. Welcome for a special edition of Author Spotlight. Hey, it's your host with the most, your main man, Darren M. Palm. Excited to be with you today, where I go behind the scenes with best-selling authors from across the globe. The ladies have taken over Author Spotlight. Yes, for Visionistas Conference 2021, March 20th. We want you to be in the building. You can register at self-publish, the letter N 30days.com/events. Today we have on Jessica Taylor. Hello, Jessica. Say hello to the people.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Hey, we glad to have Jessica in the building. If you don't mind, Jessica, just share a little bit about yourself for those. Now, I know they have this information in the show notes, but we want to hear from the source. Share a little bit about who you are and some of the things that you currently do.
So, I am a mom of two. I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old who definitely keep us very busy. I'm also a nurse. I work in labor and delivery. I have been a nurse for 8 years. I've been in labor and delivery for 6 years now, almost 7. I've been at the same hospital for the last 7 years, so lots of growth there. I also founded a nonprofit back in 2018, and you'll kind of read in my chapter about how God led me to that through my profession. I'm married to my high school sweetheart, Avery. We've been together for forever. We've been together for 17 years, married 8. So me and him have had a long journey together. So that's a little bit about me and what I'm doing right now in my life.
Okay, awesome. Well, we appreciate you sharing that, Jessica. So I just want to pull a little bit from what Jessica just shared with us with her intro about who she is, and what she does. For those of you out there who are thinking to yourself, I understand, Darren, but you don't understand. I would do it. I know I have a story, but I just don't have the time. I got kids. I'm married. It would be nice if I didn't have to work, but guess what? And my girl Jessica also has a nonprofit. All the above, like the old school multiple choice test back in the day. So I'm bringing it up not to just be comical with it, but to share with those out there who that is something that you have that could be beneficial for the world. It doesn't matter about how many other people have done books, or you think that you have to have more degrees than a thermometer to be able to share, or you have to be famous or in Hollywood, in New York or Dubai or the UK, somewhere in London to do it. I'm here to share with you, no matter who you are, where you are, that you can make a change for people locally and globally, just like Jessica is doing too as well. Let's talk a little bit, Jessica, far as you being a mom and well, being a wife, being a mom, and plus just your personal things that you need to take care of. Give us the mindset of you wanting more, or wanting to serve more, or making an impact. Where is that coming from? Because most people are so caught up on just sitting back and not doing anything else outside of work. So what triggers you? What's innate in you that's allowing for you to transition to continue to make an impact outside of what you currently do for your career?
So, when I started in labor and delivery, I was completely blown away by the amount of families who go home empty-handed, who go home without their baby. And it took me a year to really start to realize, how many families this is. And so through my nursing, of course, I did everything I could from a nursing standpoint. But every night when I would go home and lay down, I just felt like I could do something else. And if I couldn't do it myself, I could find someone who could do it for them. And in doing so, and doing that research and trying to find the resources that these families needed, and I couldn't find it, I felt like it was my duty and my passion to do it for them, to create this organization, to start this nonprofit that would really make an impact. I definitely had doubts. I definitely felt like it was going to be time consuming. It was going to be expensive. It was going to take me away from my family, from my children, from the things that I enjoy doing. But ultimately, I was so passionate about making a difference and making a change in the lives of these people that I started it. And through that, we've helped over 100 families. We've covered over $60,000 in funeral expenses for people. And so that's incredible in itself. And so all those self-doubts that I had, all of those times where I laid down at the end of the night and I was like, you know what, I can't believe that I did this. I just put so much pressure on myself. those are the moments that it's so rewarding to be able to follow through and do really what your heart wants to do. And more so what God has placed on your heart to do. Because through my organization, through my nonprofit, we've been able to help so many families who needed financial support, who needed emotional support. So I think really that drive, what triggered me was just seeing it firsthand, seeing it firsthand in the hospital as a nurse. And then also just as a human being and as a mother, we're so nurturing. We want to help people. And that's where that drive came from, for sure.
Pressure makes diamonds, and they also pressure bust pipes. And so this is the thing that you want to keep in mind for is with the book and other areas in life, period, just like what you just heard here with Jessica, is the importance of understanding that you have to be selfless. Sooner or later, if you're really going to get something done, whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's starting a business, you're going to have to be selfless. People don't understand it. You're going to have to be able to give of yourself. Those who are in ministry, they got to give of themselves. They got to give. The kids got to share their dad or mom or whoever it is with the congregation or with others in the community. Whether you are a political figure, you're having to serve your community or your constituents or whatnot. So the selfless act it runs parallel with leadership. So Jessica is showing you the importance of servant leadership. She had something that was drawing her closer and closer to be able to create a solution. So one of the things that I wanted to extract out of what Jessica just shared with us too as well, and I want those who are listening to this to see how can you see how this is able to be implemented in your own lives, is if you can't find it, it's bothering you, you are the solution for it. Let me repeat
Absolutely.
that. If you can't find it, you heard what Jessica shared with us. She went and looked. She wasn't really seeing anything out there. But Jessica took the initiative to go actually take the first step. Notice she didn't have this as part of her 5-year plan, not her 10, not her 20. We're not going to get that deep. She saw something that she saw hurt. But I want those to understand this. Your pain is your product, whether that's a nonprofit, if you want to see people helped by a service that you provide in the marketplace, whether it's ministry in an area that you feel that is deprived, whether it's teaching people or giving them the education that they know to have financial literacy. If you see that as a whole that's causing people to break up or to be divorced because of financial issues, it was outside of infidelity, financial issues is causing families to break up, or you see, hey, I need to do something with these young men and young women out here or whatnot to keep them from being a part of the system or whatnot. So whatever it is for you, take from what Jessica has shared with us. If you look for something and it's not there, you actually are the person who can make that change. You don't have to have it all figured out. Dive a little bit deeper in that, if you don't mind, Jessica, of the importance of, you didn't have all this figured out. It wasn't like you had ran nonprofits for years and you came back to give up because you was retired. Sure, the mental fortitude that it took to at least take that first step, if you don't mind.
Oh, definitely. So, when I first started thinking about starting this nonprofit to help fund the funeral expenses, I had to keep it quiet for a long time. I had to pray about it. I had to really think about the steps that I had to take. And my husband, Avery, he's an entrepreneur at heart. So I knew the minute that I brought it up to him, it was, full speed ahead. So I remember one day Avery and I were in the car, and I had been thinking about this nonprofit for months and months. And I just mentioned it to him, hey, I kind of have this idea. What do you think about it? And he's like, man, babe, that's amazing. We need to get started on that like today. What do we need to do? Well, I had some friends who were also thinking about starting a nonprofit, and they got with another nonprofit, and their primary function is to help start nonprofits. So I immediately contacted these guys out in Houston, and they host seminars on how to get started on a nonprofit and all of the things that you need to get started. And I remember when I was on my way to go present my idea to them, I was so nervous. I was just like, what if they don't like it? What if there's other organizations that I miss that do the same thing and there's not a need for what I want to do? But I went in there and I had all of my research and all of the things that I had put together, and they absolutely loved the idea. And so that was step one for me, just kind of learning the foundation, how to start a nonprofit, what all do you need? And it's similar to entrepreneurship for sure. You have to come up with a name, you have to get a website, you have to get a logo. There's a lot of detail that goes into starting a nonprofit. And it was overwhelming at times, but every step I took, I was that much closer to helping families. And so I just kind of leaned on that to get me through all of the learning, all of the struggles. And I'm so glad that I did it because we've been able to help so many people.
For those who are listening to this, think about the families that have been helped. And this is just the start of this. They didn't stop because of the number that she gave to you earlier. It's ongoing. So just think about the compound effect, like my guy Darren Hardy talks about, the compound effect of what's happening outside of that, where it's being paid forward because someone is having that as a testimony to be able to share, like, wow, at our lowest point, whoo, somebody who didn't even know us thought enough, had enough love to be there for us in our time of need, where you're bombarded through the airways, through TV, through social media with so much negativity. And the emphasis is about how the world doesn't care about anybody. For you to be able to have that light in a dark place to share that, hey, all people aren't bad. It doesn't matter what ethnic background they come from, where they are on the social economic ladder. The key to it is, it doesn't matter where they are politically. We can come together. This didn't happen in Washington, D.C. It didn't happen at the White House. It came from a young lady's heart to make a change. And speaking of making that change, you were able to share that in the book. Tell us, why did you add author to your name? Why did you go ahead and accept the invite to be a part of Visionistas Volume 2?
Well, I actually always wanted to write a book. From high school, I think I kind of had this crazy idea to write a book, but I wanted to write a fictional story. And I actually started writing it. You can ask Avery. I started writing this book, I don't know, maybe 10 pages or something. I made up names, I made up a plot. I just wanted to tell a story. But fast forward almost 20, 15 years later, God has given me a true story to tell. And so the fact that, I have some inspiration, I want to encourage other people to follow their dreams. So when you gave me the opportunity to be in this book, I couldn't pass it up. And a part of the message that I'm trying to send to people is, like me, I doubted myself. I've doubted my ability to be a nurse. I've doubted my ability to be certified. I'm certified ×3 in my profession. I've doubted my abilities so many times, and we do that as humans. We doubt our ability, but I overcame all of that, and now because of that, I'm a nurse. I'm certified. I received the Daisy Award. I've started a nonprofit, and also I'm setting an example for my children also, and that's very important. So for me, being in Visionistas is a way for me to tell kind of a short story, that I hope one day I can tell the bigger story. But I've always wanted to write a book, and like I said, fictional book, but you've given me the opportunity to tell my true story. And so I'm really thankful for that.
Absolutely. Jessica, I think it's phenomenal the work that you're doing. I know that you hear it from quite a bit of people, but I like giving people their roses while they're here. You're doing a phenomenal job. I know that some aren't able to verbalize or have the opportunity to tell you, but I do from the bottom of my heart. And I think I speak for others too as well. Just thank you, thank you, thank you for the work that you're doing, for actually being a change agent who are making a difference locally and globally. Like I brought up earlier, we really won't even know until we transition and go on to the other side how many lives that you've been able to impact and touch.
Absolutely.
What that meant to someone at that time. It's just a matter of seconds that someone can either have an issue and go the wrong way, or that life that's been given to someone to say, you know what, we can overcome this. You know what, we didn't know what we was going to do, but look at the power of God. Look what was done for us. And it also shares with us about mankind or humanity, that we can join together, that we can pull our resources together and be able to make a positive impact. It doesn't mean that you have to go to Honduras. It doesn't mean that you got to go on the plains or whatnot, or Zimbabwe or whatnot, for you to make a difference. But there are organizations just like Jessica's or whatnot that are actually being a vehicle to be able to channel that change by getting it to the people who need it the most. So I want to say kudos to you, Jessica, for all the things that you're doing. You're just getting started, girl. So it's going to be more to come. That
Thank
book of
you.
yours will be out here soon or whatnot, because I think that this is going to be momentum, because there are other areas that you brought up, just like with the nonprofit, by you sharing your story. And I want those who are listening to this to get this. It's not just Jessica I'm talking to, but it's to you as well. When you share your story, just like the nonprofit, it's a ripple effect, and it's something that outlasts you. So even when we're gone, whatever the platform, whatever the medium is at that time, you have archive where your great great grandchildren or whoever connected with you will be able to look back and see their lineage of the impact that was being made and why they start being trailblazers in the industries that they're in at that current time for their generation. So if you don't mind, Jessica, please share with them, how can they hear more about your nonprofit? How can they connect with you, whether it's on social, or if you want to send them to your nonprofit? What information you want to share, please share. We will have the information in our show notes, but I want them to be able to hear from you how they can connect with you.
So our website is heaveninstead.org. We do have a Facebook and a social Instagram account. Both of them are under Heaven Instead, so real easy to keep up with our events and fundraising. And we occasionally talk about the families that we help and share a lot of information on there. So if you want to follow our social media pages and visit our website, heaveninstead.org, you'll find a lot of resourceful information there.
That is awesome. Well, for those of you, if you enjoyed this interview, guess what? Jessica will be back for Visionistas Conference 2021. Her and the ladies who think outside the box, who are definitely making a change locally and globally, will be in the building March 20th, 2021. Make sure you go to self-publish the letter in 30days.com/events. The event is free. The event is free. So you definitely want to be around these catalysts of change or whatnot for the positive, so you can hear more about their stories. And also we will have information too, how you can connect. So Jessica's working on some few things now where you'll be able to purchase the book, the whole nine, from her, for those who want to connect with her and purchase the book from her directly, where she can actually autograph it for you or whatnot and connect with you in another way. Then definitely we want to make sure that that's provided to you. So Jessica, part and piece of advice before we get out of here. Speak to that person who's thinking to themselves, wow, man, Jessica, she's certified. She's doing her thing in the medical field. She has this amazing life. I see why someone like her write a book. But speak to that woman, or speak to that person out there who's doubting themselves, like you had to deal with, dealing with imposter syndrome, but they know they have a story that they should write. Share with them why their story count and why they should share it with the world.
Definitely. So, one thing I always think about, and I always tell people, that everybody has a place, everybody has a purpose. I don't care if you're the CEO of a, $1 million company, or you work at Walmart as a greeter. Everybody has a place, everybody has a purpose. We all have self-doubts, we all have moments of vulnerability, but vulnerability is powerful. And you'll learn in my chapter, I had lots of moments of vulnerability, lots of hurdles that I had to jump through. But those are the moments in life that make you stronger. Those are the moments that you learn a lot about yourself, about your perseverance, about really what you're willing to do to get to where you want to be. So I think it's important that if you feel like you have a story to tell, if you feel like you have a mission you want to accomplish, just go for it. And be mindful that it's okay to ask for help. My nonprofit wasn't completely started by just me. I had a lot of help, a lot of support through colleagues at work, through family, through friends. So I'm really grateful for the support that I've had. So don't be in fear of that. Follow your dreams, go for it, and tell your story, because it's worth telling.
Come on now. See, they thought Avery had the fire. I see who got the sauce. I see who the boss with the sauce. Now, see, that's what I'm talking about. Avery, I love the energy. Shout out to my boy
Thank
Avery
you.
Taylor with not much love, but I see his wife, man, they kindred spirits. She up here dropping value bombs on us. We got to have you do more of our content for some of these shows we got. We're going to be reaching out to you, Jessica, but thank you
I
for coming
appreciate
on.
it. Thank you.
We're grateful for having you. For those who are tuned in, remember, join us March 20th, 2021. Visionistas Conference 2021. We want you to be a part of it. Also, for those who are thinking about, I would love to be a part of the co-authoring project, we will have information where you can join too, to be a part of Visionistas. 3. So if you're thinking that I want to do at least a chapter to get started and then move into another book, then you can have that opportunity as well. But please come and learn from them. Get a copy of the book from Jessica as well. We'll have information where you can do that by the time this airs. Please come and hear the full story about what happened with the book and from the other Visionistas on March 20th or whatnot. We look forward to having you. Until next time, remember, if you won't change, be the change. Be blessed and be great. And remember, this is the year for your new book.